the last lesson. And when I taught you this chapter, I also said that, you know, the title is quite ironic. And in a lighter sense, I said, this is the first chapter in your book, okay, in Flamingo. And in fact, the title is The Last Lesson. But then in reality, okay, it is ironic because though this is the last lesson, but this last lesson is the first step to realization. Okay, people start realizing that one's mother tongue is very important. So far, they had not realized. So you can say that, you know, the title is ironical as it is the first step towards realization of the importance of one's mother tongue. Okay, now I'm not going to go much into Alphonse Daudet because we've already discussed about the author. Yeah, these are the few things that I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to deal with the characters, I'm going to do with the theme, the setting, and also the summary of the chapter. Now, the characters, we have the important characters are Franz and Mr. Hamill, and the villagers, of course. Okay, the theme, it's all about language, importance of language, identity, patriotism, education, linguistic chauvinism, and war. And the setting of this place is in Alsace. Okay, now this was a part of France, but then it was occupied by the Prussians. So once again, let's talk about the theme. Okay, so the theme of this particular chapter is about the importance of education, okay, and the importance of respecting or having respect for one's mother tongue. Okay, and moreover, through the story, the author is trying to point out at the unfair means of linguistic chauvinism. Okay, so you know, when people think that one's language is more important than the others, okay, they dominate over others' language, they do not care for the others' language, they deem only their language to be the most important. Like in this chapter, the Germans feel that the people living in France, the French people, for them French is not necessary, but their language is more important, that is German, and therefore they issue an order that learning of French should be stopped, and then there should be only learning of German language. So that is linguistic chauvinism. Okay, it is about being very illogical, unreasonable, okay, to kind of condemn others' languages and only to take pride in one's language. Okay, to give importance to only one's language. Now, the other message that the author wants to convey through this chapter is about the human tendency. All of us, we suffer from the tendency, okay, and that tendency is procrastinating things. We keep things for tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. It's too late. Okay, so and that is what the author also states out here. Okay, so everybody, all the people, they have put off their learning. Okay, they have put off learning French. They think that, you know, there's a lot of time, but then at the end, without realizing, they feel, okay, that their own mother tongue has been snatched away. Before they can even learn their language, it is taken away from them. Okay, because they procrastinated. They did not give their mother tongue any importance, and at the end, they were not able to speak their own language also. So that is what it is given. Now, a short background. Now, this chapter is based on the, you know, Franco-Prussian War that happened from 1870 to 1871. All right. Now, at that particular time, uh, France was defeated by Prussia. Now, Prussia was a part of Germany, okay, and under the leadership of Bismarck. So Prussia conquered, I mean, defeated the French nation, and because of that, okay, the small province of Alsace and Lorraine, as you can see in this picture here, this particular part was taken away by the Germans. It was annexed to Germany. It was, now Germany's border was still here, but when they fought with the French, you know, they defeated and they came till here. Now the German border has increased till this particular part. Okay, so this part which belonged to France is no more, and now France is only this much. Okay, so that is the background here. It's the Franco-Prussian War, and then as a result, these Prussians, they enforce upon their language on the people living in France. That means the French people could not learn French anymore. They had to learn only Germany, speak only Germany. So that is the background. Now, like I said, there are two main characters. One is M. Hamel. Now, he's a French teacher. You know, he's been here for 40 years. He's a very traditional schoolmaster. He's got a ruler. He's very strict. He's a hard taskmaster. Okay, and he punishes the children. Okay, he's very, very strict. Everybody is scared of him. He's very cranky. But then we see his transformation after the order is passed. You know, the order to stop learning French and to continue only with Germany. Okay, so they had to speak only in German language. So after this order was passed, then only you see a transformation. He becomes very soft, gentle. Okay, and even when France was not able to answer his questions, or when he came late to school, he did not do anything. Okay, now apart from that, Mr. Hamel is a very respectable man. So that is why even villagers had come to class that particular day in order to give him respect. Okay, and for him, French is the most beautiful language. He loves French. He gives a lot of importance to French language. And now the other character is the character of little Franz. He is a 10-year-old boy. Okay, and he also lives in the Alsace district of France. And in the beginning, you see him very casual, very callous. He does not like to study. Okay, and moreover, he's tempted to skip his school. Okay, because it's a very sunny day, and he wants to go out and see the butterflies. He wants to go for fishing, have a nice time. But then we also see that he is a person with inner strength, with the willpower. So though he has temptations, he's able to overcome his temptation because of his strength, inner strength, and he goes to school. Okay, he's also patriotic. Now, in the beginning, we see that he dislikes his teacher. He finds him very cranky. He does not like his teacher. He does not like French class. He does not like his books. But then, after the order, you also see a transformation in France. Okay, he begins to respect his teacher. He feels, in fact, very, very sad that his teacher is living. And then his books, now they've become like his best friends. He does not want to leave his books. So both the characters, that is M. Hamel and Franz, they come over a transformation at the end because of the order that is passed by the German. Now, the story begins with Franz. Okay, he is in a hurry to reach school. All right, so at this moment, Alsace and Lorraine has already been taken over by the Prussians. Okay, it's annexed to Germany. And you see Franz, he is kind of, running to his classes. But then, a blacksmith tells, there's plenty of time. And then he does not understand what he means. He sees a group of people crowded around the bulletin board. And that bulletin board, the narrator says that, nothing good comes from it. All death, orders, everything bad comes from that board. And that morning also everybody was crowded in. So when he reaches school, he finds a difference in the school. School is very quiet. When he enters in, M. Hamel does not do anything. He just tells him, come fast. And when he goes in, he sees the villagers sitting inside. And then he learns that was the last day of French. Teacher M. Hamel. That was the last French class he would ever have. Now, that is why he realizes, the people had crowded around the bulletin board. They had crowded because an order had come, okay, from Germany to transfer all the French teachers and to stop learning French and to include only German. Okay, so Mr. Hamel had been transferred and he would be leaving the next day. So that particular day was his last lesson to his students. Okay, and this lesson for everybody, it's of a very serious issue. Everybody is attentive. Even M. Hamel, he tries his best to do his best, to give his best to his students. And even the students, there's not a single sound. There's pin drop silence. Everybody's very, very kind of, quiet and serious. So this is exactly what the story depicts. The story shows, okay, it shows the sadness of the whole situation, about how people feel, okay, when they're losing something. Even we are never appreciative of what we have. We are never grateful for what we have. It is only when we lose that something we realize the value. Otherwise, we never realize the value. And the same thing was happening in that particular class. The people were sad. Some of them were crying. They were sad and they did not want to leave their language. So far, they did not give any importance to that language. They never, thought it was necessary to learn. They thought we have plenty of time. They procrastinated learning. But now, at the end, when it's time, okay, he realizes, and not only he, everybody realizes that losing something. Okay, so that particular aspect of human beings are shown in this particular chapter. Okay, so even Franz, like I said, he thought he would be punished, but he was not punished. Okay, and even when Mr. Hamel asked him a question, he could not answer. He was scared, but M. Hamel did not do anything. In fact, he said, "You're not to be blamed." Okay, in fact, I am to be blamed. Why? Because instead of teaching you all, I sent you all to water my garden. Or I wanted to go for fishing, so I sent you home instead of teaching. And even parents are to be blamed. Why? Because they thought that working was more important than coming to school and learning. So it's not only the boy's fault. That's what he states. Okay, so this chapter is all about the last lesson, how each one of them feels. Okay, so you can see the change in the school. The usual scene at school is there's a lot of hustle and bustle. Okay, sorry, there's a spelling mistake here. It's okay, noises of opening and closing of desk, repetition of lesson in unison, striking of teacher's ruler against the table. Sorry, a lot of spelling errors. So this was the usual class that they used to have, okay, before the order was passed. But then after they received the order, everything changed. So everybody was silent. M. Hamill was occasional dress, in a very special dress. The classmates were already in their places, you know. So moreover, the villagers were also there. They were already there. And in fact, you know, it was surprising to notice that M. Hamill had become very kind, and everybody was so serious. Okay, even the elderly people were there on the back benches with the primer. So these were some of the changes that they saw. Okay. Sorry, just hold on. Okay, now some of the lines that I'd like to discuss, like he states, will they make them sing in German too, even the pigeons? Okay, so there are many things that are shown. First of all, it points out to the limits or ambitions, okay, of the rulers can reach, the kind of limit that they can reach, the extent that they can reach. Now, just because they have taken over, you know, a small part of France, now they feel that these people who've been speaking French since their birth, okay, they can take that right away and ask them to speak in German language. Okay, so moreover, just like the pigeons, you know, no matter how much you teach them to talk, they will only coo. Okay, in the same manner, these French people, okay, they are patriots, and no matter how much you try to force German upon them, they will always speak in French. Okay, so no matter what happens, they will not be able to take it away from them. Okay, what happened? I think yesterday I did not edit this properly or what? Anyways, so moreover, there are a few other lines that I'd like to state. Like, for example, M. Hamill tells them, you know, not to stop speaking in French, because he says on page 7, the first paragraph, the fourth line, he says, when a people are enslaved, as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. That means, as long as you keep on speaking your mother tongue, as long as you can speak your language, you will always feel free, no matter, you know, where you are, under whose rule you are. Okay, so nobody can take that freedom away. This will always remain the same. So even if rulers change, even everything changes, the situation changes, but at the end, whatever your mother language is, it will hold you close to all your people. It will bind you. Okay, so yeah, and then even if you feel, you know, as if you're in prison, you will never feel that way. Okay, you will always feel free. So in this chapter, the themes of war, the identity, linguistic chauvinism, uncertainty, displacement, it is, the story is replete with all these things. Okay, so the last lesson is the first person narrative. And the narrator here, the speaker, is a little boy who's called Franz. Okay, he also lives in Alsace-Lorraine, which now has been taken over by the Germans. Okay, so as soon as the news comes to flash that they will no longer study in French, they will only study in German, you see a change. You see a change come over everybody. Okay, so Now that they're under the German rule, now that they've been added to the German territory, Mr. Hamill tells them, keep on speaking this language. Because though you might be under the Germans, but you will always be close to your motherland. Okay? And this you will never, they can never ever try to take away from you. Okay? And moreover, he also touches upon, the point. Like when he says, how is it you pretend to be Frenchman and yet you can neither speak nor write your own language? So here, the theme, okay, of uncertainty is shown out here. The theme of displacement is shown out here. And then at the end, now it's time for the class to end. Everybody stands up, and Mr. Hamill, he wants to say something, but he's not able to say. He's choking with tears, and he just writes on the board, Viva la France, meaning long live France. And then he just motions to them. He tells them, motions, meaning you may leave. Okay, is there any question that you'd like to ask?